Keep it taking. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming
What's
through. And
what's
you want to
good,
answer this
Ramil?
question real quick? Do you need a portfolio?
It all depends on what area IT you're going into. So I'm not sure what all y'all talked about, but I'm gonna go off of what it says in the title, which is coding. Coding is a good way. Well, if you're getting into coding, you can have a portfolio very easily by using GitHub. You can have examples of your code. A lot of people that are getting into coding and all that stuff, they have portfolios on GitHub or GitLabs, which is where you can, is basically a repository for either an application. People put websites up there and everything, but that's where a lot of people reference their portfolios, so to speak. That's what I call it. I don't know if that's what everybody else call it, but that's considered in my eyes a portfolio, because you're basically showing the hiring manager, or you're showing the actual department that you're trying to get into, okay, this guy has examples of things that he's worked on in the past. Because with GitHubs, it's basically decentralized, centralized, because it's owned by Microsoft, but it's where a lot of open source applications are created. And so you can work on other people's projects. You can add to the code. You can also fork the project and create your own project using the previous code that was created. So that's considered a portfolio, in my opinion. And then also, I've been in interviews, and I haven't done it much, but I have been in interviews where I've brought my laptop and I've actually showed what I can do on my laptop. Because a lot of times it's kind of hard to explain, especially if you're talking to hiring or HR people and they didn't bring anybody in from the department. Typically they bring in somebody from the department, but I've been in interviews where they haven't. And by having your laptop out and you can show them what you know how to do, or give them examples, or if you want to print it out, whatever.
Let me ask you this. Y'all always talking about interviews. Does tech people go through a lot of job hopping? Because y'all, it's like y'all, you know what I mean?
In this environment, bro, anybody that's sitting at one job, trying to, get the pension and all that, that's nonsensical, and especially in the tech industry, because the more environments you see, the more technology that you see, the more business types, whether you work in healthcare, then you go to maybe an industrial business, then you go to a telecom business. The more of that you have on your resume, the more variety you have in your resume in the tech field, the more valuable you become, because you've built up experience in different environments.
Okay, I got you. Let me
no, not at all.
Josh had mentioned something about the hiring managers and the job descriptions. You guys got to understand, when you look at these job descriptions, a lot of these are written by the HR department. They're not actually written by the IT people, or they might not even be written by the person that's interviewing you. Oftentimes they'll go and copy and paste some stuff off of what they think is required in the job. So when you read job descriptions, they can sometimes be intimidating. But like Brother Truth said, you got to zero in on some key stuff. I normally tell people, if you read the job description and you can do about 50% of the stuff that they're asking for, apply for the job, because everything else you can learn on the job. You're never going to get the perfect candidate that knows everything that they want on that job description. So.
Yep. And he's absolutely right, because in some job descriptions, man, it'd be a whole freaking encyclopedia worth of acronyms that you've never seen in your life before. Like, hold on, you want a programmer and a network engineer? What kind of shit is this? You know what I mean?
Okay.
You'll have somebody. Go ahead.
That makes sense, true indeed. Yeah, I mean, but let me. We got a whole bunch of people. Let me see if I can get to everybody. Let me get to number 16. He came through. What's going on, number 16? What's up, man?
I wasn't able to catch stream when it started. I really just caught it when it started to open up. But yeah, it's a very good field to get into. A very wide field. Yeah, like for me to talk about all the CompTIA certs hit home, because that's what I started off with. I started off with A+, Network Plus, some of like the low level Microsoft certifications. But yeah, it's definitely only entry level. And also too, on the entry level piece, it can be challenging to say the least to try to get your first jobs on your resume. But it's like, yeah, you just got to keep trying and struggling, to be honest, to get enough experience to move to some of these large positions. But yeah, as soon as you sort of figure out where you want to go in tech, then to really do it. Like for me, like I did get my CCNA route switch, and that did help with job procurement. But one of the things for me was that I found much more success in contracting. And so instead of trying to apply for a permanent position, because it was hard for me, it was just, hey, get my name out to some recruiters like Robert Half, Tech Systems, Insight Global, and let them find me jobs. And then just after taking contract to contract and getting experience up, and then just continue to get better and better jobs. But yeah, contracting is one of the big ways to get into the field, and especially a big way to boost your chances of getting a job is if you're willing to travel, or if you're able to travel. because now with COVID, now it's a lot different. But before, it was like most companies wanted you to be on location. And even if you're like in a big city or a big area, you may still struggle, but it's like, hey, we got a job out for you in Little Rock or somewhere like in the middle of nowhere in Michigan. It's like, are you willing to travel? Sure. And if you're willing to travel, you open up many more opportunities for yourself. Like a brief background of what I do, like I am a network engineer, but I'm at this point strictly wireless engineer. So yeah, if you want
that's what's up, man.
I'm on the Aruba side. So
yeah, me too, and Meraki as well.
Not touching Meraki. no. But my company uses Aruba, so I have my ACMP because I did actually go internal, but I was supposed to not even supposed to get. I was getting training for my ACMX, but when all the stuff happened, couldn't do it. But yeah, like wireless, like some people say, cloud security, still route and switch is still very viable. Servers is. Yeah, it's just there's many fields that you can go into. It's just figure out what you like and go for it.
Just to add on to what he was saying, man, like in addition to gaining value in these different positions, you have to have a thirst for learning because we have a flood of immigrants coming in from India. When I tell you, these are like some ninjas. They are born to learn IT. They will study from sun up to sundown. Some, not all, not all. But not to say that all of them are, geniuses, because I've ran into a lot of them that know what they're doing. But there are a select few because the competition over there in India is so strong that everyone is vying for high level positions. So there is a incentive for people to hit the books that much harder. So I've worked with individuals like they study all day in, day out. They stay at the job and they go hard.